I am naturally buff.
I am naturally buff.
I am naturally buff.
First of all, I'm going to point out the obvious. This is a group of children. I understand steroid use is becoming more common among the young folk, and we got to address it. We got to worry about it. But this is extra hard. I mean, look at their smiling faces. This is like if you took a bunch of 14-year-olds and asked which one touched a boob.
All right, so how do you guys training? I just do calisthenics, weightlifting as well. Weighted calisthenics, that's my favorite.
So I'm going to use some crude tools to parse this shit show out, including a little bit of profiling. Let's try and get to these guys' brains, see what they're really motivated to do. Calisthenic guys, it's a lot of skill, so I feel like it attracts people that actually want something to chip away at, not the insecure lot that makes up the rest of us, where like our identity is attached to looking different as soon as possible. I don't know. There's probably also something about like a fear of those guys getting too big because it's like strength body weight ratio as opposed to just being big and strong. But I'm going to call it right now. This guy's off my list.
So I am a powerlifter. It's pretty low rep, pretty high intensity. Right now, I'm kind of like in my off season. I will say that I compete in USAPL, which is like drug tested. So I can't.
Yeah, we know how that is. Yeah.
Oh, there it is. All right. First of all, a little sus that he's saying, well, I compete in a tested federation. Take my word for it. But I'm going to say Liv over here is natty. I'm going to call it. I'm going to say he's 100% natty for no other reason. He mentioned USAPL with a straight face. Like, no PED using powerlifter is going to be able to do that without like wincing a little bit. It's like trying to get a MAGA Republican to talk about San Francisco without like squeezing their fist. Like it gets a visceral reaction.
And then I do high intensity, low volume. That's how I found I gained the most muscle. About a year ago, I was 120 pounds. I gained like 50 pounds of muscle in 6 months.
Dude, you're definitely juicing then.
Ding, 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 ding. All right, so we got the 50 pounds of muscle gained from the superior methodology of high intensity training. And we got the fact that he's got this NSYNC thing going on circa 1998. Like, I don't know why I'm triggered by this kid. I think it's because he looked like everybody I went to high school with. I went to 2 different high schools. Poway, San Diego, which is the epicenter of like fake pop punk, of like middle class, whiny white kids complaining that their parents don't love them while they wear puka shells and skater shoes. And both in San Diego and in the cornfields of Illinois, where I went to Charleston High School, everybody dressed the same. And they all look like that. In fact, I had that same thing. I had the flipped up hair with the bleached tips. Man, I was pulling. But you know what? Then I hopped on steroids. I lost my hair. And if I didn't, I might have that like sweet teen Disney look still going on. So let that be a lesson to you.
Yeah, I weigh like 180, 185. It depends. Like I went out drinking last night, so I don't even know what I weigh.
Okay. Last time I checked was about 185 to 190-ish.
You strike me not at all, the calisthenics and stuff. So like you're off my radar at least.
Yeah.
I'm just
I feel like
being an
the
open book right now.
calisthenics stereotype is kind of like the natural, like hardworking way.
Exactly.
Now, here's the thing. You can't just look at the biggest guy and think that that's obviously the guy that's juicing. The caveman logic that you would use from like a normal natty or not type of scenario would be to just look at the biggest guy and be like, well, that's the guy. I mean, using that logic, it'd be like the weed dealer in the oversized t-shirt and the male feminist with the Oreo hair. But here's the thing. So many people jump on gear because they think they have shit genes, regardless of whether or not they do. They don't want to work hard and they want it right now. So as a result, the lion's share of gear users are actually people that look like wet shit on a hot day. Now, you don't hear about these people because who's going to go up and be like, yeah, bro, I just started this new cycle, when every single time the response is going to be like, bro, really? You take gear? Never would have thought. It's like when you get 100% of the stigma and don't have anything to show for it, you're inclined to keep your mouth shut.
If you're enjoying this video, like and subscribe, and let's get back into it.
Okay, there he is. Smiley from Training Day is a front runner. It's like Tapatio came out with a line of protein bars. I know. I just said that you can't just go with the biggest guy. But like, here's the thing. That guy is far and away the only established physique here. So it's not just that he's big, so he's got to be using. The likelihood of somebody with an actually established physique being around long enough, weighing the pros and cons, seeing that, oh, I can get farther if I commit and sell out. And it's so ubiquitous at that level that it just becomes more likely to be an inevitability once you stay in the field and you start developing more. So it's not his physique. Like, he's got a really good physique, but it's like, that's not unobtainable. There's probably, I don't know, 50%, even if it's 10% of the male population could get that big and stay that lean with like strict adherence over 5 or 8 years of training. That's like 15 million people in the United States. That's a lot of people. Yeah, it's just a fact of actually being around that long to like commit that much into your body. That creates like a different category. And that's what makes this difficult, man. Because like I said, these are kids. Most of them have undeveloped physiques. They're just getting started. So it's like if you lined up like 6 middle schoolers and then like their 40-year-old bus driver and asked, which one of these guys has tried mescaline? Like, I'm going to be safe. I'm going to go with the guy that's been around the block. Looking for access to exclusive programs from the best minds in the field and some of your favorite YouTube influencers? Then look no further than Boostcamp. Boostcamp is a long-term sponsor of this channel, and I wouldn't be partnered with them if they didn't provide a premier product. If you want optimal performance, you can't just wing your weight selection. You have to make deliberate steps forward, so you need a program, and you need a way to track progress on it. Boostcamp makes it easy to track your workouts from the convenience of your phone, so you never have to rely on your sloppy handwriting or your bad memory. And they give you access to a library of exclusive programs from some of the most well-known names in the business: Eric Helms, Bryce Lewis, Jeffrey Verity Schofield, Bald Omni-Man, and yours truly. We all have programs up there that can only be found on the app, and it is absolutely free. My programs, Bull Mastiff and 70s Powerlifter, are both up there, and you can also check out Full Sturker, which I wrote to tell you how to get strongman jacked using just the things you find in a regular corporate gym. So a special thank you to Boostcamp for making this channel possible. Unburden yourself from the hard business of making the perfect program from scratch. We've got them pre-made for you. Download their app right now by clicking on the link in the description.
I could immediately tell when I saw Tyler that it was the shoulders. I was like, this is a big guy trying to hide under like a bigger shirt.
People have always been suspicious, but it's just how I look, I guess. It's not really up to me. It's really up to the person.
Can I take 20 seconds to clear myself? Because I think I can.
Yeah.
All right. So I've been living for like only a year. I started out like my first 6 months vegan. I'm pre-med at college, so like I support others taking steroids, but I personally would never. So I'm focused on health, and I think it's contradictory to hop on juice.
So my boy Brandon over here, he's laying it on pretty thick. I'm like real suspicious. I don't know if I'm projecting on him or not, but he's in med school. You gotta be suspicious of those people that go to med school. As a COD, that's not child of divorce, that's child of doctor. I've seen a lot of like what goes into like the making of doctors and like doctor cultures. I feel like a lot of male American born doctors are people that were kind of nerds in high school, probably had a chip on their shoulder. And of all the avenues where you could go become an alpha, you could either like take a bunch of steroids and get like chin implants, or you can go to med school and become a doctor. I'm just saying, man, like baggage, usually part of the equation. This guy seems like a nice guy. He probably got bullied a little bit. He's probably still crushing after the girl he liked in middle school that ended up getting with the jock, but he was taking her calls late at night to be the shoulder to cry on, waiting for an opening, but they ended up going to the same college and now they're getting married with a kid on the way, and he's got a chip on his shoulder. So now he's going to med school and he's going to make it big and he's going to take any path to get there. Like, throw steroids in that mix right next to the Ferrari because they just go hand in hand. I think Brandon is trying to fool us all. I think Brandon's using 100%.
So you guys can question me all you want, because tell them the truth.
Okay. How about instead of questioning, we just look at physiques?
Sure.
Take off our shirts.
Yeah,
It's kind of weird to say that, but let's just do it.
Okay.
Okay, I know some of you guys are looking at Polio's head over here thinking like the arms, the delts, like he's filled out, like that's a steroid user, man. That's like testosterone, a little bit of D-ball, and just a dirty bulk. Like half gallon of milk, putting whole cream on your cereal, putting sugar on top of the Frosted Flakes. I get why you're suspicious, but I'm going to say no. I don't think this guy's using. This guy's just got those chunky boy genes. This, in high school and right after, is exactly what me and my Filipino friends looked like when we would go to the gym late at night, just get a barn burning workout, and then we go straight to Jollibee's afterwards. Like, we were thick, 25% body fat, squat, deadlift, bench, going to the moon, not a care in the world. It was spaghetti, stretch marks, strong as shit. That's how we lived that life. So I think that guy, I'm going to say he's natty. By the way, in searching for an insult, I did have to look up poliosis. It is when you get white patches in your hair because there isn't pigmentation. So I just like to say, I think this guy's edgy haircut, I'm going to say it, I think it's problematic. Like, as somebody who's differently follicled, like, imagine if I went to a Halloween party in a wheelchair. Like, our pain matters. Just want to throw that out there. Do better.
I thought about it only because like every powerlifter, like everyone wants to squat above
Especially
like a certain amount. Like if you're gonna compete in like a competition where everyone's lifting like 800 pounds, but no, I don't really have the aspiration to. And I'm also scared of needles. So
I've definitely thought about it. I mean, you see Larry Wheels like benching 700 or something.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not gonna act on it.
Why not? The health?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Also, my parents would kill me.
Sounds like a man of conviction right there. Keep your eye out for Brandon, man. In 10 years, there's going to be news articles about this kid when he's writing scripts for Vicodin to help pay down his debt to his bookie.
Bench press maxes.
The most I've done is 215, but I'm gonna try 225 soon. Hopefully, join 2 plates. You?
Like 365.
Oof.
265 or 275.
Okay. Yeah.
mine is weak. Mine is like 315.
Okay.
Yeah, 275, but I have shoulder problems, so I can like rep 225 on incline.
It's a lot of info, Brandon. Didn't want your medical history, bro.
I was suspicious of Damon just because he was also pretty built and he had those traps, he had the shoulders, and he also seemed a little nervous too, so I kind of figured that he was trying to hide something.
They're all going for my boy. I'm telling you.
If you think that there could still be a mole or 2 moles in the box with you, raise your hand on 3. 1, 2, 3.
We vote out the like biggest, like strongest looking guys. I feel like
19-year-old and like you bench press like a
Yeah,
lot.
that
you know,
also, yeah.
I kind of like when I was 19. Like trust me, I didn't look like you. You know, like I was.
Thank you. I'll take it as a compliment.
Yeah,
50
no,
pounds
bro.
of muscle mass, like 50 pounds to gain within that short time of you lifting is a little suspicious.
I mean, I was vegan for the first 6 months. Realized that I couldn't put on like, or I couldn't maintain that muscle. And so I
Are you
started-
still vegan?
Dr. Mike Vegan Gains Menser, he's on. Like I'm telling you, he's just something about this kid's off, man.
Or I couldn't maintain that muscle. And so I
Are you
started-
still vegan?
No, I'm eating chicken. I don't eat red meat, just for health reasons.
It's crazy because even being vegan, that would even be like harder to maintain, like acquire.
But if I don't eat red meat, would I take steroids?
Because veganism is an extreme, high intensity is an extreme. Everything's its own little, I don't want to say cult, it's a cult. School of thought, way of doing thing that takes everything to the nth degree and also has an identity wrapped around it. It's like just jumping into the deep end. I'm going to call it, man, Lance Bass over here.
It's crazy because even being vegan, that would even be like harder to maintain, like acquire.
But if I don't eat red meat, would I take steroids?
you have a medical background, so you understand it better, which means you know how to do it safely. Because there is a safe way to take steroids, technically,
Is there?
if you know what you're doing.
I mean, I know the dangers of it too. Like we researched that.
Exactly, you know the dangers, so you know the right way to do it.
In general, I'm very against steroids. I don't think anyone should take it. I think there's some people that do take steroids because they want to compete in bodybuilding, but a lot of those people fail to see the long-term downsides of taking steroids and that it will impact your health most of the time.
I honestly think that you're not on steroids, Brandon, because you know I've done calisthenics before, and this is totally achievable like physique. I don't think you are as well. You're just like a bigger guy, but like you know you just eat like a lot, and then you know a power lifter.
Thank you.
But for you,
What's up?
You know you're young. You're like trying out new things. I don't know. Like a lot of young kids are like you know trying to get into like fitness and just fast results.
Can I see everyone's arms? Is that okay? Just go like this.
Sure.
Stretch marks.
I'm just looking for IV marks because if you get a lot of IVs, you tend to have a
Yeah.
hole.
IV marks.
He's looking for IV marks. I think he thinks steroids go in the arms. Oh shit, I might have jumped on Brandon a little too quick. Either Brandon is just the sweetest, naive little thing in the world, or he just pulled the wool over everybody's eyes. Is he playing them right now? Trying to act like he doesn't know where the needle goes? I don't know. I mean, he said he researched it. He researched the side effects. I don't know how little research you have to do to think that it goes into your arm the way a junkie living under a bridge gets that black tar heroin in. It's like trying to ask, like, can I see the webbing in between your toes? Can I see your taint? Like, did you run out of blood vessels? They started collapsing. Like, let me inspect you. Anytime you want to find yourself in this very common situation and you want to really get to the bottom of who has signs of injection, just go around and start patting guys on the ass. because you're going to hit that spot on the glute where that little golf ball, the oil builds up and that post-injection pain builds up, and they're going to jump like they got hit in the anus with a cattle prod.
Like salty sweet because it felt like a compliment, you know? They think I'm on steroids. I've only been working out for a year. It feels pretty good.
You three confident?
No.
All right, if the box turns red, that means 1 or 2 of the moles are still in the box, and they will split the cash prize. If the box turns green, that means there are no moles in the box, and you 3 win the cash prize. 1, 2, 3.
I knew it.
1 or both moles could have still been in the box. Are you guys ready? The moles can sit forward on 1, 2, 3.
Oh shit.
The moles won. They get to split the cash prize.
The guy that looks like he makes paintings of Bob Marley on the sidewalk, that checked out. He's got the physique. He put in the time. He's been around long enough. So I feel good about that one. I feel bad. I went a little hard on Brandon though. Liv, you sneaky drop in the USAPL. That's the thing that I put way too much stock in that. That's the thing that just took my attention all the way to the other side. Maybe it was mannerisms. Maybe it was his build. Maybe it was, a 315 bench and he's a bigger dude and he competes. And I'm like, that all kind of checked out. He got one up on me.
Can I ask what your guys' stacks are?
You just ask what their stacks are. Man, he's planning. I'm telling you, bro, this dude's gonna be a practicing physician looking like Rich Piana in a few years.
For sure. I tell everyone, guys, stay natural. The biggest goal in the life is to live the longest and live the healthiest life. But if you're gonna do it safely. Do it with someone who knows how to do it. Do it with someone who's done it for years and years on end so you could do it the best way possible. But always stay natural. Honestly, man, chicks don't even like it. They like a Calvin Klein looking guy. They don't like the big
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle looking guy like me. So
I like Tyler, man. I like Tyler. He's got a good vibe. He's very realistic. He knows why he does it. He seems secure in it. He didn't come out here like the typical peacocking, like that's his life. And I think it can come from a good place, and it needs to if you want to make good decisions. But that's completely it. There is a right way to do it. They kind of touched on it earlier. There is a way that mitigates risk, and it doesn't just put you in the same camp as the bodybuilders that abuse diuretics, take thousands of dollars worth of gear on a weekly basis, and then end up having just decades shaved off their life. That doesn't have to be the path. That being said, it's still big boy shit. There's still risk that has to be mitigated. So if you're getting into it for the wrong reasons, thinking it's going to do more than it does, you're going to be inclined to not pay attention, not get blood work. It's going to be like trying to jump into a NASCAR race without learning the difference between that car and your 10-year-old Toyota Corolla. There's work that is required. And if you're not going to meet that standard, stay the fuck out of the kitchen. Now I want to see what Liv's punk ass has to say.
I don't know much about powerlifting, but I know that they all love orals.
So I actually,
guys
for my
love
competitions,
orals.
when I compete, I actually did it naturally.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's better to do that, and then
my squats 600, deadlift 600.
I hopped on steroids right after my last competition. I was competing in powerlifting naturally, squatted 600, deadlifted 600, and then I wanted to hop into bodybuilding. So I contacted my coach and I was just kind of like, hey, I want to win, let's really go for it. And I got into contact with my doctor, my coach, my nutritionist, all of that kind of stuff, just to make sure everything was.
So this goes to show the mentality, the problem I have with a lot of the way that strength sports and bodybuilding stuff has become a lot more mainstream. Accessibility has increased, which is good for a lot of reasons. But as it gets bigger and bigger for more people, it changes the contour of sportsmanship and the way that participation in these things goes off. And this is a perfect example. Let's say I take this person at their word that for some reason, as they were getting really good in powerlifting, they didn't want to take steroids to win, but suddenly they stopped and said, I want to do this other thing that I'm even further away from. And now I'm going to start taking steroids to try to win that. Let's just forget about that. If that person was natural and decided to jump ship, there's this sense of oh, I want to win. I'm going to go 100%. I'm just going to start taking steroids from the get-go, even though, first of all, I don't know what you think you're winning. Because if this person dropped all their body fat and got stage ready, forgetting about loose skin or whatever else, this person's going to have not much muscularity. Shoulders, arms are not developed. Legs and glutes might be, given the numbers, but the physique change is going to be radical. This person is like years away from having something that looks remotely passable on stage. One, from getting the body fat down. That's going to take 18 months by itself. But beyond that, from getting the muscle in the places you need that are untrained, like it doesn't matter how much gear you take, you're not going to be in winning shape anytime soon. And it's so bizarre that people jump into these things thinking that mentality. It's good to be optimistic. It's good to think, I want to do this and do well. I would like to take this as far as it goes. But there's the learning stage where you figure out what it is, what the lifestyle's like, what it feels like day to day. And people come in without that in their brain. They're just like, oh, I want to win. I did good at powerlifting. How hard could bodybuilding be? I hate to break it to you guys, bodybuilding, 1 billion times harder than powerlifting. This is what the average powerlifter is. This is somebody who got kind of strong, kind of quick, likes doing the main lifts, training simple and straightforward. You can eat whatever you want because powerlifting. You don't have to do cardio because powerlifting. Bodybuilding, not only is it training longer, more thorough, more rigorous, less sexy movements, pain is being pushed farther because the pain of doing all of these movements in a later rep threshold is much higher, and I would say much different than doing a heavy squat or deadlift. Most people adapt to that pretty well. But in addition to that, the dieting fucks with you, and it's your entire day living out of Tupperware. When your willpower is at its lowest, you have to stay present in order to execute. It's so bizarre that people think they can, like everybody does a physique show, I can just go in and do that. So I really don't like the fact that this dude jumped on gear to do something that he's probably not going to be doing. I'm going to bet money. I got $100 right now. I don't know who wants to take this bet. I got $100 that this person never sees single digit body fat to get on stage. That's just me. That's given the patterning of what I've seen in strength sports, given the lack of accountability and the lack of sportsmanship, because it is a pay-to-play, consumer, recreational, non-team sport. I hope I'm wrong. I hope the person does everything they said they would. I love seeing people prove me wrong because there needs to be more of that to set the example. But, I'm making a prediction here. So on that note, apologies to Brandon. I hope Brandon has a great time in med school, and I hope he stays away from the devil's canola oil because, bro, you're going to be neck deep in it, all right? You don't need to get track marks up your arms to try to get jacked to pull girls because, as our boy Tyler said, they don't even like it. So that's all I got for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think about this nonsense. I have nothing else to say. Leave your comments in the comments. Till next time, this is Bromley. I'll see you.